How's everybody doing? It is Flipkicky here, and we are going to do the HDL Season 2 Draft Recap. Now, this is a draft league with 10 other creators in a community that I am part of. This is a Pokemon Draft League, obviously, as you can tell by the logo. This logo was beautifully made by Adrian S. Enzo. Follow him on Twitter. You can find his Discord if someone server's watching this. Hit him up. Obviously make some good art. Now this is a Pokemon Draft League. 11 or 10 weeks. There will be a playoffs, championship. Pretty simple. We're just going to start it off with my first pick. Now we got a Mega. We're actually doing Megas. We're getting a Mega. 1 Tier 1, 1 Tier 2, 2 Tier 3s, a Tier 4, a Tier 5, and then we got 300 points to spread across the points picks. I'll get to that. There's a little bit of controversy when I got to that. However, I will address that when we get there. I took my first pick as Urshifu Single Strike. I knew I wanted Urshifu. I knew if I didn't take him now, I wasn't going to get him later. I was 6th pick overall, which is not the best spot to be. It's easily snipeable, but you do have about the same amount of time between each pick. But I knew I wanted Urshifu. Great offensive presence. I knew I wanted to take a good offensive presence in Tier 1. So Urshifu was obviously pretty much the best thing on the board that was left that I could take. I mean, Cure Black and Zygarde were still on the board somehow, even though it dropped all the way down to me. But I decided to take Urshifu. You can band it, you can scarf it, bulk up, Life Orb. Pretty much all offense. It's also surprisingly bulky. The only problem is just run a fairy move. These amount of things get fairy moves, but not all of them get crazy fairy move coverage. Fairies and it's easy to get coverage as Ice, for example. So Urshifu would be great. I don't see me not bringing Urshifu basically every single week. They have a fairy, I know they'll bring it to bring Urshifu, but Urshifu will draw out counters, which will allow me to build around the counters that I believe will get drawn out. Urshifu is a good member. Also, this is my style. Very leans more towards hyper offensive, so Urshifu will definitely help. Next up, we have the Mega. I took Mega Slowbro with my 2nd pick. I knew I wanted Slowbro for a while. Last season, I took Mega Mawile Lando T as my Mega Tier 1 combo. I didn't want to take Lando T again this season. I decided to go with Mega Slowbro instead. I like the idea of Mega Slowbro. You basically have a free no item Slowbro until you decide to Mega Evolve it, which is an insane thing to have because we have a restriction this season because of how crazy the points picks ended up being later on. You can only bring a combination of 3 Tier 1 and Tier 2s a week. So I can only bring Urshifu, my other Tier 1, and one of my other 2 Tier 2s a week. Or you can't bring 3 Tier 1s. And Slowbro was a Tier 1. So I basically have 3 free Tier 1s until I decide to Mega Slowbro, which is very, very good. No item Slowbro is actually very good. Takes less damage from knockoff, takes less damage from Poltergeist, still gets Regenerator, and then I could just Mega it, click Calm Mind a couple times, and then sit on things that have been already worn down. But let's say Urshifu, I have a style is leaning more towards lots of chip, clean, which is a style I like to play. Slowbro, good defensive presence. Made sure I drafted some good defensive like pairs for Slowbro. All around good Mega, niche Mega, however, fits my playstyle, and I wanted to change the types of Megas I was playing with this season. Stray away from Mawile. Mawile didn't do so well last season. Did actually make the MVP chart, but that's because it's a Mawile, it's going to get kills, that's its job. It either got in, did damage, or it just died and didn't do anything. Now Slowbro is going to pretty much do everything every single game, or do something every single game rather. So I'm glad that I was able to get it, and it was not sniped, because I think it was one of the better Megas in Tier 2. The Megas actually got 40 bonus points, and the points around those ended up not mattering after the whole point debacle went down. For my first Tier 2 free pick, I went with Darmanitan. Now I knew I wanted Slowbro, Urshifu, Darmanitan as my core free things. If I knew I got that, we'd be in business. One of the best fighting pairings, or one of the best physical pairings in the game, fire and fighting. Also, I have Dark with Urshifu with Darmanitan. Darmanitan is ruthless in draft. Again, you could scarf it, you can band it, you can life orb it. Kind of bulky, you have to prep for it, you have to respect it. Now, not only do you have to prep for Urshifu every week, you have to prep for Darmanitan every week. And you have Slowbro as a pivot between them. There's not much to say about Darmanitan. Obviously, Galarian Darmanitan is banned. Normal Darmanitan is not. Definitely one of the better mons in Tier 2, especially for the style I wanted to play. I don't think I'll bring Darmanitan every week, especially with a couple other offensive presence since I got later. But Darmanitan is very, very good in draft. Works very, very well with Urshifu. I'm very glad that I was able to get it, and that someone did not take him before me. Then I went straight for my Tier 5. I needed a fairy, and I believe that Galarian Rapidash was the best mon that was in Tier 5. There were a couple other mons that were pretty good. However, Rapidash looked very, very good in Tier 5, and I did not want someone to snipe it. Plus, I needed to guarantee a fairy, especially with the mons I currently had. Galarian Rapidash is good. I also need a special attacker. Galarian Rapidash can do both. You can run Calm Mind, you can Bandit. Fairy Psychic is a shockingly difficult stab combination to prep for. Someone else had Galarian Rapidash last season, and I found that it was the most problematic thing to prep for on his team, and he had a Zero Aura, he had a Mega Absol, he had a Cinderace, and I found myself struggling to prep for Galarian Rapidash the most, and now I have it. Dragon counter, obviously, fast, good speed tier, Calm Mind stored power, very good combination for it. It can attack specially, it can attack physically. Definitely not going to bring it every week, but a good one to bring and difficult to prep for it and makes people think. Very, very good value out of Tier 5, and I made sure I secured it at that point. Then we have Roserade. Already completing my Fire Water Grass score in the free points already. And I'm already with my Fairy Dragon Steel. So I have Roserade, which is very, very good Toxic Spike setter. Also another Fairy counter. I have my Dragon counter in Rapidash, but now I have my Fairy counter in Roserade. Sledge Bombs are shockingly powerful from Roserade. Grass blocks out waters. I have Darm for that as well. Can switch into electric type moves. It's not really more of a pivot, it's more of utility. You can do a lot of different things. Toxic Spikes are very important. The chip will be very much appreciated for the other things that I have, like Darm and Urshifu, so it works well with them. Obviously, it also completes the Fire Water Grass core already. It does actually surprisingly well defensively. It's got good special defense, and Grass is a decent special defensive typing. Poison not so much. However, I thought it was a good value pick to get. Made sure I got my Tier 4, and I was going to patch up whatever I was going to get for my 2 free Tier 3s that I'm going to get. So I wanted to secure Roserade to finish the core, ensure Toxic Spikes are at least some sort of hazards, and just a good all-around mon from Tier 4. Then we have Rhyperior. I did not think Rhyperior was going to drop to me. Rhyperior is a very good Tier 3 Pokemon. My team is obviously now leaning very physical at this point. I did patch that up in the points picks, and with the next Tier 3 that I got, I needed a rocker, first and foremost. I didn't have any form of Stealth Rocks on my team as of right now. I knew I wanted something else later, but I didn't think that was going to drop. It did, but I still have Rhyperior. Very good physically defensive. I obviously have Slowbro for that, but now I have Rhyperior. I needed a rock type. I needed Stab Earthquake. Rhyperior pretty much speaks for itself. Rocks, very high defense, very strong Earthquakes and Stone Edges, good HP. I don't have Trick Room, but he's a good counter Trick Room on. If someone decides to bring Trick Room, I will most definitely bring Rhyperior, because he can make them regret that they did bring Trick Room that week. Again, not something I plan to bring every single week, but a good counter pick mon, something if I know I want rocks plus Toxic Spikes, I want to overload on the hazards, I can bring Rhyperior, and it actually works well with my next mon, which is Vanillix. Now, originally I picked Doublade here, and I'll get into why Doublade was eventually changed out for Vanillix. Doublade was kind of a desperation pick because I got sniped. I wanted Druddigon really, really badly. Druddigon would have been very, very nice, but I ended up having to take Vanillix for an issue I will discuss after this pick. Actually, no, I can just say it right now. For points, I got Kyurem Black. However, when we decided to make the rule, because everyone's team was so unbelievably busted. It was starting to look like OU the draft league, which would not have been fun at all. So we said, okay, maximum of 3 tier 1 and tier 2s a week. I didn't want Kieran Black. I literally only took it because everyone else's team was busted. I already obviously have 2 tier 1s with Urshifu and the other points pick that's red that you can see. So I split Kieran Black into 2 mons, Vanillix and Haxorus. I didn't end up keeping the Haxorus because it gave me an even more difficult scenario, because then I had 3 tier 2s. I have to pick between one of them every week, and I couldn't bring 2 of them if I was going to bring Urshifu and the other tier 1 that I ended up getting. But I did keep Vanillix because I liked the ice type. I liked the hail. I needed some sort of weather or some sort of terrain. I didn't have that yet. Someone drafted Hard Rain, or very obvious Hard Rain. They got Pelipper, Tapu Koko, just scary. I don't want to get swept by that. I don't want to lose to that. I don't want to lose to anyone else who decided to bring some sort of weather. I have Vanillix to switch the weather around. I have Hail Chip, I have Stealth Rock Chip, and I have Toxic Spikes Chip now, which works very well with a Scarf Urshifu or Scarf Darmanitan, or even a Scarf Rapidash in the back. Vanillix does very well. It was half of Kieran Black that got split in half. I had Doublade, so I just got rid of Kieran Black and said I don't want Doublade anymore. I'm going to take Vanillix. I literally used a free agency transaction to get a Vanillix instead of a Doublade, because I also eventually got a Ghost type later on where I didn't want Doublade, and I'm going to get a Steel type with my next pick, which is Corviknight. I got Corviknight. Very, very good. Corviknight Slowbro is a very good defensive combo. I could bring that every single week with Urshifu. I have no regrets. Corviknight Urshifu is a very, very good pairing. That was the issue. I would have to not bring one of them if I wanted to bring Darm plus the other tier 2 plus Haxorus if I was going to pick one of those 2. And it's really hard to say, am I not going to bring Corviknight or Urshifu this week? Why wouldn't you bring both of them every week? They're both such good mons. Corviknight has a surprising amount of depth to it. You can run body press sets, you can run iron defense sets, you can run heavy stall sets, you can run Roost U-turn as a good pivot with Slowbro that will already keep pivoting with Teleport and Regenerator. Corviknight will just sit on something, fire a couple Brave Birds off even, do some damage for you, soften their team up, scout a little bit, defog some hazards away, rock for you, or put spikes down for you like it does. Does Corviknight get spikes? I don't know if Corviknight gets spikes. I'm pretty sure it gets rocks. I didn't even draft it for that purpose. But I know what it does. Everyone knows Corviknight does. It's fat. It sits on things. It's stupid. So I got Corviknight, which is great. So I didn't need a Steel type, so I didn't feel bad about losing Doublade. So I didn't want to trade off between Darmanitan, Haxorus, and whatever my 3rd tier 2 was, to say I don't want to bring either Corviknight or Urshifu. That was stupid. So I ended up taking... No, I actually take the other dragon later. I wanted Jolteon anyway. The points were a little crazy. People took... I got kind of sniped for Zero Aura. I wanted Zero Aura, but that's also too much physicality. I would also have 3 tier 1s. Not great. I wanted a special electric type pivot. Jolteon. A lot of pivot going on. Doesn't look like my team has a lot of pivot going on, but it does. Darmanitan gets U-turn. Slowbro gets teleport. Corv gets U-turn. Jolteon gets Volt Switch. Chip. Pivot. Chip. Pivot. Sweep of the Scarf at the end. Or Slowbro. Basically with the stylus, Jolteon's very useful. Also has depth. Surprising amount of power. You can give it specs. You can give it light board. You can give it wish pass and double screens. It can do a lot of things. Good utility mon. You definitely have to think about it. Definitely have to consider it. Doesn't look very threatening on the outside, but it is surprisingly useful when it comes to draft. Now for my dragon, even though I didn't get Druddigan again would have been very, very nice, but I did not get it. I decided to get rid of Haxorus. Haxorus would have been very useful if it didn't have the limit. I would use Haxorus a lot, but it was a tier 2, so I can end up using it. So I decided to settle for the team mascot, Flygon. Some more Stab Earthquake. Dragon Step. Fairy Dragon Steel core is now finished. I have a Firewater Grass and a Fairy Dragon Steel. That was one of my problems last season. I did not have that. I did not have many cores finished. I didn't have a Fairy type last season. I did not have a reliable Dragon type last. Did I even have Dragon type last season? I had Kingdra. My Fairy Dragon Steel core was Mawile, which was both, and then Kingdra. There you go. I didn't have Grass type either. I had my Firewater Grass was Pelipper / Kingdra, Salazzle, and not a Grass type. So there you go. Not many good cores last season. The Flygon, Corviknight, Rapidash, Fairy Dragon Steel, Stab Earthquake, Dragon Dance. Definitely not a mono I'll bring a lot. But if I see an opening where I can bring Flygon, I will bring the Flygon. Team mascot also for the culture. I didn't want to draft it per se. This is basically the Kyurem Black being split in half between Vanillix and Flygon. I originally took Haxorus and realized I don't want it, so I just dropped it and picked Flygon up because it's a tier 3 and I can bring as many tier 3s as I want. I have 4 of them and they're all pretty solid, so I just have Flygon. He will probably end up being my least used Mon all season if I'm gonna hedge my bets. Maybe that or Roserade, but still solid. You still do not disrespect the Flygon. If Flygon gets 2 D-Dances up, you just lose. It's still a very good Mon, so you still have to respect it. And I'm still glad I got it because, you know, team mascot, why not? And then we'll finish out with Gengar. I took Gengar as my Gengar dropped to me. I have Urshifu Darm Gengar as my primary attackers. Like, what? You let me get Urshifu Darm Gengar? Are you kidding me? Another fairy counter. Ghost Stab. Very, very good. You can run a Life Orb, you can run a Scarf, you can run Specs. Also has decent utility. Curse Body is useful. Sadly, it doesn't get Levitate, but I have Flygon for that. I have Cord for that. I have Roserade that can kind of switch into one. I have Slowbro that can switch into ground type moves. I'm fine in that department. But I got Gengar. I mean, I'm not complaining. Imagine having to choose between Gengar, Haxorus, and Darmanitan every week, and you have to pick one of them that you want to bring. That's why I didn't keep Haxorus, because I would bring Urshifu Corv, and I'd be stuck with, do I bring Darmanitan, or do I bring Gengar, or do I bring Haxorus? But I couldn't bring all 3. Or I couldn't bring 2 of them, even. I'd have to pick one. That's why I got rid of Haxorus, because I deemed Gengar far more important than Haxorus, because it's Gengar. I actually have a surprising amount of Gen 1 Mons on my team. I got Slowbro, I got Rapidash, I got Jolteon, and I got Gengar. But that's how we're gonna round the team out. Battle's gonna be once a week. Most likely on the weekends. I'll probably decide a weekly upload day for them, probably Sunday is what it'll end up being. I'll put the team builder at the beginning in the battle after it, so the video should be roughly 30, 35, 40 minutes. Most likely. I just wanted to go over the team right now. On my first battles against Sev, who's good at meme, because that's all he knows how to do. So I'm probably going to meme a little bit back. So we're going to start week 1 with a bang. It's going to be interesting. Really, the serious battle isn't going to start until next week. I'm still going to bring some serious stuff, but there's going to be some type of meme, because I want to actually have a little bit of fun, because I can't play him properly unless I'm memeing a little bit. I'm not guaranteeing a win, even though he has basically no experience, and I have more than him, because I don't play well in those games. However, I'm excited. I mean, other content too. If I eventually get stream VODs, I'll put the Twitch should be in the description anyway. Twitch.tv/LookKicky, same as the name. YouTube's name's fucked up. Didn't know I had a limited amount of name changes. That kind of sucks. So it'll be changed when I'm able to change it. Computer upgrade around Christmas time. A bunch more better stuff. It'll be on a slow rise in quality as I get more acclimated with this stuff. So just stay tuned. Maybe leave a little bit of stuff to surprise. Who knows? So week 1 battle should be either this upcoming Sunday or the Sunday after. Don't know. Just depends when we decide to do it. But catch you on the flip side. See ya.